That was probably the best day of my life.
That's awesome.
That takes the cake. That was the best day of my life right there, was winning that race. And I have something of my dad's now, and that's his race. All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Face the Nation podcast, CJFM. Still haven't claimed a name for this podcast, nor does it have its own standalone channel. It's here on the vlog channel. If you're looking for my main channel, link is down in the description. And today we are. When did I win that race? Was that last weekend?
2 weeks. 2 weeks ago. Right?
So, all right, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weekends ago.
Yes.
So 2 weekends ago, I won a pretty important race. It was my dad's race, the Ron Faison Memorial up at Bridgeport Speedway. And that was, it's going to be the topic of today, basically. We got two people here, two of my best friends that were there at the race. Give chills.
Yeah, already.
He really does. Look at him. Look at him. It was emotional.
Yeah.
People were cutting onions in the infield, I swear. It was weird.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Eyes were burning.
yeah. There's a lot of onions cut inside the race car too. I gotta tell y'all that. That was pretty emotional. So we've only got Sonny on the podcast here for about 10 minutes. I wanted to bring Sonny in because his perspective was a little bit different. I mean, I'm giving mine from a driver's perspective and car owner standpoint and all of that, but as a best friend, you got to experience something that you've never done before. You went into the infield with Chase and Chris was videoing the whole thing, capturing incredible moments, and that's what led to that awesome video. But my thing is, I always find it interesting. I'm in the car, I'm racing, I'm the team owner, I'm the hauler driver, wear 40 hats in one day. Mm-hmm. It felt to me like the day went by really, really quick. And looking back at it, it honestly seems like a complete and total utter blur. I remember things, and thankfully it's because of the video, but I wanted to get your perspective on what you thought, like top to bottom. I mean, you got to see everything that we went through on the Friday night race at Georgetown, all the bad luck that happened there. Mm-hmm. Just kind of give me that rundown from your perspective.
And real quick too, I mean, just something to think about, like you knew Ron and you spent a lot of time with Ron as well, so that's also kind of meant something to you, right? Like the whole race.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Man, I refer to him as Billy Bingo because that was our connection through wrestling. He was my manager, and matter of fact, the message I sent you was Bingo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, man, I tell you, Friday night it was. A night at the races, I could see that there was something different with the car. I didn't know there was anything as far as you having motor problems or anything like that, but you could just see that it wasn't running as good as it needed to.
Right.
So I mean, that leading into that, and hearing you guys talk, and had to make a motor change or anything like that. I mean, it was just stressful hearing that, knowing that race was the next day. Let alone you guys that they were putting in the work and trying to figure out how to get it right. And so yeah, Friday night was a little nervous, a little nerve wracking, and things like that. And then Saturday. When I can't even remember, how did I get there Saturday?
You rode up with Desiree and
yes,
Brittany,
okay,
right?
that's right. I rode up.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't remember you riding in the total.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember that. No. But just the whole day leading up to it and everything is everybody's nerves were pretty much popping, and like I said, I could imagine yours was, and things like that. Just the pressure, the stress, that you were feeling and everything, and coming into it, having those motor problems. God, you had to have been shitting bricks yourself.
Trust me, I was. That was not a good day for me.
Yeah.
It was a good day, but it wasn't. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020. I mean,
True that.
That was rough going into it.
But yeah, no, it was pretty much a nerve-wracking day. I mean, it got to you had the fan meetup and everything that kind of it eased it just a little bit because there was just a little fun going on there, meeting with the fans and stuff like that. And then when it come time to strap in the car, that's when it was time to get down to business. I'm not sure if it was Chris that told me to come over in the infield or Chase told me to come over in the infield, but I've been at Dover Downs, but I've not, the dirt tracks. I haven't been on the infield there. I mean, you're a lot closer.
It's a good view, isn't it?
It's a good view. Cool. We could see everything, but dude, when the race started and everything, and you started 15th?
Yeah, you were way back.
Yeah, started 15th, but it sounds like, man, way back in the pack and everything. But once the actual race started, you could just see. I mean, you picking them off. I mean, there was like a restart or something. You passed like 4 cars, before that lap was completed and stuff like that. So that, I mean, got my adrenaline pumping and everything. And I'm hollering. You couldn't hear me, but I'm hollering every time you went by. I was like, go! Yeah, go! Like, there's another one. Yeah, anybody? I'm just getting all into it.
I can only imagine. I can.
You can hear on the camera. He was loud.
But and then right down. I think there was a caution. And it was like 8 laps to go, something like that. It was winding down, and there was still a little bit more work to do. But just seeing the way that she was running that car and as fast as she looked, man, it was. I mean, nerves, just ball of nerves. Just standing there. I'm just watching, but couldn't imagine what it was like actually inside the car. But then coming around and then right before the white flag and you took the lead and everything, I was shitting bricks. I was just, I wanted to scream. I wanted to holler, wanted to watch. I was like, I'm looking around, making sure everything is still good here and shit. And then the checkered flag, it was just like the ultimate. I mean, two very, very, very stressful days, and it all culminated into the best way that it possibly could. So I was just super hyped. Everything, just seeing it from there, from inside the infield, and just watching you just click those cars away, dude. I felt like I was driving at one point.
Wasn't it like the longest 8 laps of a race you've ever watched?
Longest 8.
I was filming it. I was like, "Come on, I know we're almost there. Can we finish this up, please?" It took forever. But it was, I mean, I think like when we stopped at that caution, I don't know, like the energy change, I kind of just felt like he's got this in the bag. I feel like we all knew like he's got this in the bag. 3rd place, 8 laps to go.
Yeah,
absolutely crushed it. It was amazing.
There was a point where the race was red flagged because I think a car did he flip?
Guy flipped in turn 1 and 2.
Yeah. I just seen the aftermath of it. I didn't actually see everything that was happening. But when you're sitting there in the beginning, red flag, it stopped. You can't do anything. Now you've had everything, your adrenaline and everything pumping. You're fired up going around, and then all of a sudden you got to stop. What did that do? What thoughts were going through your head at that moment? Because that's what I'm sitting there thinking. I was like, damn, man, dude, I bet he's bouncing off the roll cage in there. Just let's go.
It was, I can best explain it like this. You start to, it's like anything, like in business or personal life or whatever. It's like kind of like pushing a snowball up the hill. You get some momentum going and then you stop. Mm-hmm. You have to, everybody. So I look at this. I wore a heart monitor one time during a NASCAR race, and it's scary how much your body is pumping with adrenaline. I was thinking every time a red flag comes out, I know for a fact I have an advantage over the other 23 drivers that I'm out there with. Mm-hmm. Now, it sounds stupid, but you go through condition training. And I went to a condition training school in North Carolina during the NASCAR days, and it really, really helped because you can actually continue like that adrenaline pumping by just movement. And I'm not going to give away all of my secrets, but yeah, you can move around the car, but your adrenaline and your heart rate starts to come back down. And then when the green flag drops again, mm-hmm. it goes right back up.
Yeah.
So if you can continue and keep your momentum building, I was not thinking about anything on that red flag much except for the job that I had to do. Yeah. As soon as the red flag came out, the marketing gene inside of me kicked on. And I should have stopped. I knew where the red flag was, and not being, an ass or anything like that. But I had a new sponsor on the car. Anytime a red flag comes out, you will see me just kind of weasel my way through the cars, and I'm going to stop on the front stretch unless a wreck is on the front stretch, giving my sponsors exposure. So that as soon as I got stopped, and I knew fans could see the logos on the side of the car, and Mike from Easy Finance was like, I knew exactly what you were doing. And I'm like, well, again, you have to be thinking, you have to wear 100 hats when you're a car owner, a race car driver, everything in one. But when I stopped on the front stretch, I knew I had to keep my adrenaline up, so I practiced these exercises inside the car. And fans probably thought I was having like a seizure inside the car because I was like moving around a ton, and I was doing these certain things. In the GoPro footage, we didn't put that in the video because I look like an idiot, trying to just like, I'm keeping your body moving and all this kind of stuff. Another thing I do is I loosen my seatbelts during the red flag, because what you don't realize, you're compressing your body down, and your body is under G-forces the entire time you're out there. So under a red flag for sprint cars, it's going to be a while because we got to push back off. So right before we push back off, I tightened them down, and I just knew I had one job to do, and I was not sure at that current time when the red flag came out. I'm like, I think I was like, what? I was still in like 8th when that came out or something, or 6th.
7th maybe?
I was between 6th and 8th, somewhere in that realm. I didn't quite crack the top 5, and it's like anything. It's very easy to pass from 15th to about 12th or 11th. And once you get to about 11th, from 11th on to 1st can win that race at any given time. The competition in Mid-Atlantic Series is like, you make one mistake, the guy behind you is going to capitalize on it and get by you. It is what it is. You got to run a flawless race is what it is. So
those guys race twice, 3 times a week, right? Where you're racing every other weekend if you're lucky.
Yeah. I'm only really hitting the Bridgeport races, to be honest with you, because of Doug and Brittany and my love for them and my love for the track. I raced Georgetown because that was local. But other than that, I really don't go and run other races type thing. But kind of answering your question in a long, about scientific way, I knew what I had to do when the red flag came out, and I had to keep moving. The adrenaline does wear off. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Heart rate goes from 160, 170 to 80.
One thing you was talking about, the GoPro footage and stuff like that, and that was something that I hadn't seen before until actually you put it in the video. I don't think people get an idea on just how hard you're working driving that car. You're constantly up on the wheel and everything like that. It's got to be exhausting.
It's like wrestling a bear.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like, God, my arms got tired just sitting there watching.
Yep. There's 2 ways of driving a sprint car. Straight and steady, like Donnie Schatz, he barely moves the wheel. You know what I mean? Very smooth. And then there's a guy like, Sheldon, Hawden Sheldon. He's in the World of Outlaw sprint cars too. And the kid is up on the wheel.
Yeah.
He's hunting. He is hunting all the time. So you either got to be working the car, or you got to be really in tune with a car like Donnie Schatz. It's just 2 different driving styles. I tried to drive like Donnie Schatz, tried to drive around the bottom. I hit every uke tire they possibly put down there. So my luck is just go rip the fence down, and hopefully it doesn't bite me back like it did in the heat race. So
it was funny too. We always talk about how you kind of drive like Sheldon a little bit, and you guys both won races the same night. You guys both ripped the fence. Crazy passes. I thought it was kind of cool watching that back the next day.
Yeah.
You guys drove like the same race almost. It was weird.
It was weird. He got a last lap pass. I did a last lap pass. It was really cool. You see guys like Sheldon. He races 90 plus times a year. And then you've got guys like me that I race probably 15 times a year. And I'm friends with Sheldon. We talk a lot, and he's one of those guys where he's built for sprint car racing. He really is. He is a sprint car driver. And for the first time in my life, on 2 Saturdays ago, I felt like a sprint car driver.
Took a couple years, but you got there,
Yeah, well, my problem was this, is I would run into, everybody always, the problem that I ran into is, you get a lot of information from different sources, and you try to put it into one car. You can't do that. The information and the sources that we have now for setup on this car, I'm telling you right now, on the starts, it's like driving a lawn dart. I'm going to kill myself for somebody else. For 3/4 of a lap, I'm holding my breath. I'm like, this is going to nerd because like the setup that we have in that car is just so unbelievably stupid. Complete opposite of, I promise you, there's not a single car in that field that is running the bar packages that we're running. But I'm telling you right now, for 3/4 of a lap until it gets wing speed and starts, putting some pressure on the bars and the shocks, it's a dangerous.
Oh yeah! Oh hell yeah!
That's why every caution comes out, I'm like, gosh, damn.
Here we go again.
It's like rolling the dice every time.
Well, I mean, I think like that from an outside perspective, sitting there watching when the cautions run out, everybody's like, "Oh shit, man! You got to start off. We basically almost got to start over again." But
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
right.
it just kills that momentum and stuff. But I tell you, dude, the most memorable of that night was, like I said, being in the infield, and after when you pulled in and you were getting ready to pull up on the scale, I guess pull up on the scale, and after we engaged in a great big group hug in the. I mean,
Wish somebody caught that on camera.
I mean, 3 big dudes. I was sandwiched in the middle. I mean, we're just sitting here, just a big ass group.
Who was it?
You, me, Chris, and Chase. And,
I don't know why we all went for a huge group hug. We were just screaming, pat each other in the back, and slapping
high
each other.
fiving and all kind of shit and stuff like that. And I seen Chase go out, or head over toward the car. So I was like, "Fuck it, if I'm not supposed to be there, somebody will tell me to get the hell out of the way." But I was going up there too, and pulled up, and you're sitting in the car, and I'm trying to contain my shit, and you had tears in your eyes, and that just caused me to lose it and shit like that.
You can hear you on that GoPro footage too.
Because I swear that I could see Bingo's with the cigar in his mouth with a big grin in his face, on his face, and it's just
That was special. That was really special.
Absolutely.
Just to see and watch. Just even just stand back with the camera just to see you guys. It's not just like, oh, it's Dad's Memorial Race. Like that actually meant a shit ton to you. Like it was a really important moment for you and Brittany and Doug and everybody, because he was there for the beginning of Doug getting Bridgeport kind of reorganized and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that was it was an emotional race. I think I don't have much of my dad's stuff. I don't have any of. I have one thing of my dad's. It was a watch that he wore to Tokyo. He visited Tokyo like back in like the 70s or 80s or something. And there's like this picture that I can always remember, and it was like a really cool like silverish gold watch. And I told him before he died, I'm like, he's like, what do you want of mine? I'm like, I got memories. I don't need material things. Although I do wish I had some of his material stuff, as far as like, some of his like Harley shirts he would wear when he went to ride and stuff like that. But I got my dad's watch, which was cool. One of his 20 he probably had in his collection. But that's really the only thing I have of my dad's. And when I went and won this race, it was, now I have my dad's race. And I think that means more than any material product.
Absolutely.
That you could have or like keep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And what's one thing I was kind of thinking about too. I don't know if you thought about this at all, like leading up to the race, but the original race weekend was for August 2nd and 3rd, I believe, this year. One of the days got canceled. This race was rescheduled. So you kind of had to sleep on this for like 3 months leading up to it. Now, did you think about that at all? Did it just kind of pop up like, all right, next weekend's the weekend, like the week before? Or like, is it something that you thought about leading up? Like, hey, this pressure is still there from April 2nd. Like, how was that? What did that feel like? I don't know.
It was rough. I'll tell you when, I don't. It's the dynamic between me and my sister and Doug it's not what people think. I actually learned about them rescheduling the race through Mid-Atlantic Sprint Series. So okay. I think actually Erica contacted me and said, "Hey, we're rescheduling your dad's race. I know your film schedule's insane and you travel a lot. Here's the date of it." And I'm like, "Well, I'll be there. I got to make that one." And when that was said, I thought Dad's race was just gone, never to be spoken about again until the following year, and I'll try at it that way.
Gotcha.
So they rescheduled it, and my thought process at that point was like, okay, well, still a lot of pressure, ton of pressure, actually, I should say. And I knew I had one job to do, and as the race got closer and closer and closer, I was just like, gosh, damn. My dad, he used to joke around about this. He said, I could go and drop you off in the desert with 2 pennies and a shoelace. And he said, I'd come back in about a year, you'd have a casino built and half of a town flourishing. He said, you perform well under pressure. And I didn't think about that. He used to tell that whole scenario to people so many times. And that's kind of what I reflected back on after the race. I was like, I performed under pressure. It wasn't handed to me by any means. It wouldn't have been as, I guess, more of a storybook ending if I would have started like 5th or 3rd or 1st and won the race or something. But coming from 15th, I mean, I wore my equipment out trying to get up there. And yeah, it was, but leading up to the race, to kind of answer the question, it was, I did think about it. And then the week of the race, thank goodness we had Georgetown to get that motor out of the way, because we'd had another motor issue. So it's like anything, when you start to look at how things are supposed to go, and timing is everything. And when it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
That's what I was sitting there thinking, because I mean, not necessarily this race, but your 2 previous races at Bridgeport, you finished 2nd. Yep. So, I mean, those were your best finishes up until that point. So it only seemed fitting that this race would be the one that you could go ahead and take the checker. So
100%.
It was meant to be. It was, you could just see it coming. You could see it coming.
More special too to do it. You know, if obviously it'd be cool to win both nights, but if you'd won Georgetown then won second night, it's like, oh well, doubleheader win, cool. But you know, like, and honestly, like, nothing against, you know, your driving, because you're an amazing driver, but everything had to align so perfectly for this all to work out like it did, you know, for the motor problems to happen.
Yeah,
it's just, I don't know, it's kind of cool to think about every little piece of this puzzle.
That was all a test. That was all a test.
Chase getting the settings that you guys wanted to try, and just everything that goes into the behind the scenes. There's a lot with the sprint car stuff, man. It's a whole full-time job.
Mm-hmm. It is.
How many people would have said it after Friday night, the engine issues and stuff like that, and not knowing, and
then stay up till 4 a.m. working on the car, wake up at 7, keep going. Like, you guys put the hours in.
Yeah, Chase and I, we really grinded our ass off Friday night. I actually went Facebook Live in the toter home. I had Chase like basically record it. And we're Facebook Live. We're headed back to the shop. And my shop's about 45 minutes away from Georgetown. So we, you know, as we were joking around on the live stream, I try not to take things too serious, but it also does bug me. I used to get really just spun out if something went wrong at the races, because I'm a perfectionist. I like everything to be perfect. I like everything to go the way it's supposed to. But in racing and in life, ain't shit gonna happen that way. And I've slowly learned that over the course of time. And my dad, he used to drill that in my head. He's like, this is what builds your character. This is what builds up to that moment. Because we paid our dues for 3.5 years of sprint car racing without a win. We came close so many freaking times. What do you do? Mm-hmm. And I think it was just meant to be. I think my first sprint car win was going to be a memorable one, obviously. But to do it on Dad's race, that meant everything. Yeah, it really did. Absolutely. And it was at Doug and Brittany's racetrack, which it's just the storybook ending. It literally is a storybook ending.
Mm-hmm. You couldn't write. It couldn't have been written any better.
Nope, not possible.
Written any better.
No, not at all. I mean, honestly, it's wild to think. And you know, Chase kind of said it on the podium too. Like, and I'm asking you this: like, how many times did you guys think about giving this up? Because Chase is like, late nights in the shop. How many times do we go at this till we are just like, all right, this isn't for us? Like, does this boost you to like keep going now? Like, how do you feel on all that?
It does two things. I damn near almost just like hung it up on Monday morning. I was just like, what else is there to really do? I mean,
that's true. No, you're right.
Truthfully,
yeah. You're at the top of sprint car racing.
I mean, you go out, you go out with a bang of winning your dad's memorial race, your first sprint car win. But I'm not a quitter. But also I look at the money that I spend going racing. It's ridiculous. I mean, it comes straight out of my pocket. The sponsors you see on the car, they do help, but truthfully, there's really only like 2 sponsors on the car that aren't one of my companies that I own. Think about that. Mm-hmm. Velveeta and now Easy Finance Trucks. And, Velveeta, they're more or less in just the social media side. I slap their name on the car. They like racing, but, I mean, it's not of monetary value to them to be on a race car like it would be Easy Finance Trucks, stuff like that. Velveeta is more interested in the whole YouTube aspect, which I can completely understand. But it does. Chase and I, we've talked about it 100 times. I'm like, good grief. I've got so many toys to go and play with on the weekends. I could go to Buzzco every weekend and go play in the mud like I love doing with my four-wheelers and snorkel kits and all that. Or I could go racing. And I love racing. I'm too stupid to quit. I think that's what it is. You know, every one of us racers, we're the biggest group of idiots on the face of the planet. We are. I mean, we want to laugh about it. Us racers are the biggest dumbasses on the planet. And Chase always says, racing wasn't invented by two guys in a business suit looking at a profit and loss statement.
Hillbillies. A couple hillbillies.
Yep, a couple rednecks in the backyard wanting to go fast, and that's how racing was created, basically. So, in racing, the cost has gotten way out of hand. Obviously, with inflation and shortages and all this, it becomes a little bit more difficult. And I don't know how much longer I will race. I don't know. This season might be my last one. I've got a ton of other stuff that I would love to go and do, but then again, Chase is taking over the team. I don't have to do much but just drive a hauler to the track, drive the race car, and pay the bills.
Okay, I think it'd be hard to replace. I mean, you can get an adrenaline rush from pretty much a lot of things, but I think that in that car has got to provide a certain level that would kind of be hard to be matched to try to get it from somewhere, you know what I mean, somewhere else. And it's you've been passionate about it. It's like wrestling with me. I was done back in 2018 because of an injury.
I remember that.
And I thought I was, pretty much done. And luckily that's how YouTube came about, to try to replace some of that, and the crazy places that we've been and stuff like that. It just didn't replace fully the amount of everything that I felt during wrestling. That's why I'm back into it and doing it, a little bit now. And actually, we're at the top of our game right now. So
both you guys are rushing at what you do.
It's kind of hard when you got something like that, like racing for you, like wrestling for me, stuff like that. Your dirt bikes and stuff. It's hard to replace that. You can substitute it, but I don't think it can be replaced.
No, does it really replace it though?
And people who are like, listen to this. I can't think of many other sports or activities in the world that replicate the adrenaline rush and feeling of being in front of the crowd. And I don't know, there's not a lot of people that probably know what we feel when we're doing what we do. And it's so addictive, to go back and get more of it all the time. That little spike.
I've never done drugs in my entire life. I've said this 100 times. Never smoked nothing. Never snorted nothing. I've drank alcohol, clearly. But I don't know how a drug addiction feels, but I think this is about as close as it comes. Because, think about it. We're all so stupid. We keep going back and doing the same thing. You get your ass tossed around a ring for 25 minutes. I'm out there blowing thousands of dollars every race. For what? For what?
Cussing this guy because he's done cut you off driving like an asshole.
Dude, I could be camping somewhere in a really nice RV or like I could have a garage full of supercars, but instead I decide to go sprint car racing. You know what I mean? Now, granted, you can do it on a literal eighth of the budget that I probably spend, but I like big trucks. I like haulers. That's kind of
it gets a little more dangerous at that point if you're not, on new, fresh, safe equipment. So,
my safety means a lot.
To what you do,
I run a $4,000 racing seat because I want to keep my ass safe. I like me too much to hurt me. It sounds a little like pompous, but it's not. It's just, when you care about yourself enough, you'll go the distance for safety. And if not, I don't think people should do it. I think if you have to skimp on safety or anything like that to go racing, you need to find a different class or a different hobby. And it is what it is. You can't affect the way that things cost. So that's for another podcast, clearly. All right, everybody. We took a quick break there with Sonny. He is now going back to work. So we're going to continue on this podcast because there's a lot to cover. In more ways than one, I think.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot to unpack from this weekend. I gotta give a huge thank you to you for capturing those moments. Like, that was incredible, man.
It was cool to be there. Thanks for having me. Honestly, it's so much fun just to film, and there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of really cool moments that I don't know if you guys always realize I'm filming. I try to kind of be sneaky with it, but
I saw that.
I don't know. I always think about like my life. Like it's just, cool stuff happens. I want people to be able to watch it back and capture it. And there's so many cool events. And if you guys get to ever come to a race, please do. It's so much fun. But yeah, no, just thank you for having me. It was a good job. It was a fun thing to be a part of. And you put that video together yourself. You did an amazing job with that edit. I couldn't have pulled myself through that, dude.
Yeah, it was a little rough. That's why I wanted to edit down that video because I wanted to relive it. Again, it was a blur. So many emotions going on, from them putting me out in front of the Fort Wide Salute to doing, the fan meetup. There was so much that happened and an immense amount of pressure that I was under to perform. And that's when I do my best, is when I'm pressured to perform for some stupid reason. I don't know why. I hope that changes one day.
Yeah, I know, I do too. That's a lot. It's just a lot on you. It's a lot of stress for you to be a part of. And that whole week, you could tell you're a little off. Not off. You could tell there's a lot rolling through your brain,
Yeah. No, there definitely was. I think ultimately what I was feeling mostly through the week leading up to the Georgetown race, I felt like something was going to go wrong, and it did. And then Saturday rolls around, and so this was what was really, really, really weird to me. It would not have, I don't know. I had a lot of confidence starting 15th, as stupid as that sounds. I came from 18th to second and almost won it on the last lap a few weeks before then.
You did.
And then the week before Dad's race, I ran second to Dave Brown, who won the race. Mm-hmm. I think I start third?
Or fourth, I think.
All right, started fourth and finished second.
Yep.
So I knew the car was fast. I knew we could get up there. I knew we could contend for the win. But what I didn't understand was that I had a lot. There was a lot to unpack from that weekend, man.
There's a lot of pieces. How many? I mean, I don't know. It's not like boasting, but I mean, like how many fans showed up? Which you asked people to come, and they showed up in droves. There's probably almost 100 people, right?
Yeah, there's over 100 people. YouTube fan wise that showed up to the race. So
for a car race, which a lot of people probably aren't interested in.
They don't care about that race.
Before I met you, I never watched car racing. No. I love sprint cars now. It's a blast, but I mean, I don't know. It was
cool. It was cool to have people support. That was awesome. It was really, and it got to meet a lot of cool people.
Yeah,
that's what I love about doing that. Is hosting a fan meetup was one of the greatest ideas I had. It was probably more of a dumb idea because I needed to focus on what I was there to do, which was win Dad's race and perform well. But again, performed under pressure. Last minute was like, hey, fan meetup happening at Bridgeport right before the race and at intermission, going to give away free merchandise. And we gave away, I think it was just over $12,000 in merchandise, which was insane.
That was wild.
And here's where I don't fault people for this. I go about the whole fan base in a different aspect. I'm thankful for them. Therefore, I want to give back to them.
Always. You do this all the time.
I'm very empathetic towards people.
Yeah.
But then again, if you deal with me in business, I'm a bit of an asshole and a hard ass. So it's like I get to be both sides when need to be. Where most people, and not faulting them this at all, because sometimes this is how they fund some of their racing, they sell their merchandise at the racetrack. I think of it differently. If you paid a general admission ticket or a pit pass to come to the racetrack to watch me race, I should be saying thank you for that. Not just coming and saying, on the microphone, oh, thank you all fans for coming out tonight and all that bullshit. Like, do something about it if you really mean it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I do what I do. Every single race, what have we done?
Giving away stuff.
We've never once charged for a shirt.
Not once. People come up all the time with cash. How much? I'm just like, here you go. Enjoy.
Exactly.
Thanks for showing up. Thanks for your support.
Exactly. And shopmotivated.com is different. And why it's different is because that there is a standalone business where if you want to wear that actual brand, you buy a brand. Nike doesn't give you anything for free, but I feel like if you come to one of my races or a fan meetup or something like that, and you support me as much as you do, that's the least that I can do for you. So,
how cool it is to see shirts in the stands with your thing on them. Like I always see so many Billy Pouch shirts because obviously he's a legend in modifieds or whatever he raced, late models. So it's cool just to look around.
Late models
I
is
don't know.
modified.
No, whatever it was. One or the other. I don't know what he races.
This proves right here he's not into auto racing. It's
I'm learning.
dirt bikes.
I'm learning, okay? I'm learning. It's going to take some time. There's a lot. There's
all
so
right.
much to learn. But
Yeah.
no, you just look out and you see the Velveeta shirt there. That's the coolest thing. Even just seeing 3 of them sitting there, it's like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
People are there watching you. They support you. Mm-hmm. Even if they don't know your YouTube life, they're like, oh, I like his driving.
I think it is funny that some people at the track have no idea that I have a YouTube channel.
No clue. You don't advertise it. I mean, it's like
No, I
either they
don't.
know you for that or they don't.
Yeah, I could like be like a little like cliche and put like a big YouTube logo with like the link and all that, but I've yet to do that.
Not once.
No, I don't know what it is. Racing is my escape from my everyday life, quote unquote. Not that I need an escape because my life is literally a paradise and a dream. Maybe not paradise, but it's like living a dream every single day. You wake up in the morning and there's some mornings where I feel just kind of not motivated, as much as that sounds crazy.
That's normal. Everyone feels that.
What fixes that for me is my perspective that there's, billions of people out there who would trade their life for mine in a blink of an eye. And then I'm like, whoop, I'm right back to where I need to be. And I'll tell you this, getting back to basically what this podcast is about, the morning of the race, I woke up in the toter home and it was a call from FedEx saying the motor was ready, or the motor just came into the Philadelphia terminal. It wouldn't be here until Monday unless we came and picked it up. So that's when, Chase and I, we sent you up there to go pick up the motor and all that.
And what happened on the way?
Yeah, Chris got pulled over on the way up. Had to switch trucks. It was a freaking disaster of a time. I'm thinking to myself, we got to make it to this terminal before 1 p.m. You made it in the nick of time, basically, and we had to pay the guy to stay behind a little bit, which was nice of him. And I look at everything that day. It was roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, and even the vlog and the video that I put out doesn't do what really truly happened behind the scenes any justice whatsoever.
Nope.
Chase and I, when you were asleep in the toter and we went to Wawa, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, we're stupid. We're so stupid.
I could have told you guys that.
It's almost like I don't know if it were just at that point in time at 3:00 in the morning going to Wawa with Chase, I was thinking, I'm like, maybe there's something bad that's going to happen tomorrow, and this is just trying to prevent me from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was quite the opposite, and it just proves to me that every time I face opposition in my life, I've always pushed through it, and it's always prevailed in some way or another.
Yep.
And it did.
It did, 100%.
But I was not feeling it Saturday morning when I woke up in the toter. I don't know if it was just lack of sleep. I mean, I literally won the race on 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah. You function off of like little sleep better than anyone I know. So I don't know how you did that. I really don't. That's hard to do.
I don't know either.
And I never, unfortunately, never met Ron, never met your dad, but from everything I hear, it just sounds like he was like toying with you just to like kind of make things more difficult for you. And every little bit he could just to be like, hey, you got to do that different. You got to do that now. Here's another thing for you to do. I mean, it's funny to think about for me. Just, it's a little joke.
I think a lot of people have a weird perspective on me that, my dad, he was a successful businessman and ran successful businesses. But I was never paid an exorbitant amount of money. I mean, I could still show you check stubs from where I don't know how I afforded to live for the first couple of years I worked for him. But it was that. It was always that.
Yeah.
So I knew if I wanted to, and here's the greatest thing. I kind of messed up on the interview, the post-race interview. My dad didn't hate sprint car racing. He hated me sprint car racing. And the full story behind all of it, it was in 2017, I was still racing for him. So I came back home in 2014. After racing in NASCAR. And I toyed around with the Xfinity and the Truck Series and stuff like that after I came home, but it was nothing full-time like it was.
Yeah.
So I was racing his dirt late model team that he had. So he owned a dirt late model team. He owned 2 cars and a couple motors, stuff like that.
Yep.
And finally, I hated it. I hate dirt late model racing more than anything. I like watching it.
Yep.
Some. But it's
right.
nothing that if I had to choose quit racing or go dirt late model racing, I'd probably quit racing. It don't do anything for me.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable in the cars. They hike all up. I don't know if somebody's on my inside or what. You can't, I don't know. You can drive them hard, but after I got in a sprint car, I was like, man, this is the way to go. But in 2017, at the end of the season, I told my dad, I'm like, hey, listen, let's go race something else that we would be better suited to race. Something I would like, something you would like. No, I'm keeping these dirt late model teams. He said, I'll tell you what, if you want to go racing and do your own thing, it's all on your dime now. And I'm like, okay.
All right.
So I called his bluff. I had no idea what I was doing, had no idea what I was getting into, but I knew I was going sprint car racing. I was like, boom, here's the green light. So I'll never forget this, man. This was so crazy. It was a Saturday morning. I was headed up to Poncho's. I had ordered basically a complete kit car minus the motor and all that, and I was going to go pick it up.
Yeah.
So at this time, my dad and I, we only lived about 1.5 miles from each other. And he called me up on a Saturday morning. He's like, hey, man, he's like, you mind coming down here to my house? I bought this grill. I need to get it out of the back of my truck. The guys at Lowe's took about 4 of them to get it out. I think you and I can do it. And I'm like, well, Pop, I'm kind of just crossing over the Delaware, Pennsylvania line. I'm headed to, Pennsylvania right now. He said, oh, awesome. And he actually thought at the time that I was going to visit my girlfriend that lived in Pennsylvania at the time.
Yep.
So he's like, oh, man, you going up there, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, I'm actually going to pick up a race car. He's like, oh, really? What'd you get? I said, I bought a sprint car. And then the phone went, doot, doot, doot. When like something hangs up on you?
Yeah, it's over.
He didn't say nothing. Go. So I was like, oh, man. So I looked at Reed that was in the truck with me, and I was like, I don't think this is going to go over as well as I thought. Because my dad always told me, I was like, I want to go sprint car racing. He's like, there's no way in hell you're going sprint car racing. I'm not paying for it, and I'll make damn sure if you buy one, I'll make sure you don't race it type thing. But see how far that went.
Yeah, it worked well.
This caused a little bit of division between my dad and I for about a day. So I got home with my sprint car. I unloaded it into my shop at my house, and there's parts and pieces everywhere, wings and chassis. And I'm like, I have no idea how to put this thing together. I mean, it's basic mechanical stuff, but like, it's just, everything's different.
Very different.
So anyway, I'm there in the shop, and my dad, I can hear his diesel truck pulling out of my driveway, and I could hear he abruptly stopped and slammed it in park, turned the truck off, and he came in the shop, and he's like, I can't believe you do this. You know how much I hate sprint car racing. This is just not the thing to do. It's not respectful. I don't like it. Makes me nervous. I don't want you in one of these things. I know how you drive, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. And anyway, so he slams the door and then goes back to his house. And I don't know if he had a change of heart, talked to somebody on the phone, prayed. I don't know what he did.
Something.
He did something. About an hour later, he comes back and he opens my shop door real slow. And he said, you need some help putting this car together? I said, yeah, I do, actually. He said, yeah, because I'm going to make sure it's put together right. I don't want nothing falling off this mother, blah, 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 and all this. So my dad goes to my first sprint car race. And after that, I think total sprint car races that he came to, I only think he made it to about 7 or 8 of my sprint car races. Well, at that time, he had his big fishing boat, and him and his buddies and all, they're going fishing all the time. They're in fishing tournaments, and busy. I would fish with him sometimes too, whatever. But he was always that was kind of like he would text me through the night, just kind of get updates and stuff. But it was just different not having him there at the racetrack, and I didn't understand how truly much he was scared of sprint car racing.
Yeah,
I lost somebody in sprint car racing, Jason Leffler, great guy. I mean, stand up guy. Yeah. Stand up guy. And around that time I got in sprint car racing, there was like 2 or 3 deaths like right off the rip, and that really didn't help my case at all with my dad. And he's like, you don't need to be doing this is crazy, you're gonna get hurt and all. But I look back at it now, and he, right towards the end when dad his health really started to decline and the cancer was just really eating his body up, it was he sat me down in his office and he told me, he said, I can't go knowing that you're going to be racing sprint cars. I got to know that you're all right. I got to know you're going to be in the right headspace getting back in one of those cars after I pass away and all this. And he's like, I'm going to ask you, can you sell your equipment? Can you be done? And it kind of just ticked me off, him asking, and him and I are both headstrong. And headstrong to the point where when I started that sprint car team, I was an idiot. I didn't have a truck. I didn't have a trailer. I didn't have a screwdriver. I had nothing. I had to literally go buy everything.
Stop at Lowe's on the way to pick up the car and get some tools.
Everything.
Toolbox.
Yeah, actually, Snap-on lives right down the road from my house. Alvin, our Snap-on dealer. So
Cool guy.
yeah, I opened up an account with him. You know what I mean? Bought all these tools.
Yeah, I'll take one of everything.
But my dad, he didn't. He wouldn't. He just everything. My toter home, my trailer, everything is mine. It's my money that I earned from doing different business ventures. Everything, and I think people have that perspective that a lot of all this stuff was given to me, but he didn't give me a single thing for my race team, not one single time. Mm-hmm. And I think he was proud of that, but I also think that that's why he wanted me. He didn't have control over my racing anymore, so therefore he was a little worried. He was really worried about my headspace getting back in a car after he passed away.
Absolutely.
And so I told my dad, I was like, I stormed out of his office. I'm like, fine, I'll put all this shit on Facebook Marketplace and I'll just let it go. How about that?
Yeah.
Is that what you want? If that's what you want, I'll do it. Whatever.
You were never going to do that, though. There's no way.
I would have done it, but I would have seriously regretted it. I was going to do it for him because I'd do anything for my dad, but I didn't want to do it type thing. But I was just pissed. So my mom, when she was working for me at the time at the office, she went and talked to my dad. And they had a conversation there for like 3.5 hours. And at that point, I'm outside. I'm hanging banners on the fence and all this kind of stuff. And my dad, he drives a golf cart down there. He said, "Get in the golf cart. Come on." So he takes me back up to his office, and we started talking. And he's like, "I'm sorry. It was selfish for me to ask you to do that." He said, "This is the one thing that you enjoy doing, and for me to take that away from you, I can't do that."
Yeah, no, that's cool.
So we kind of it ended off on good terms, and I promised him that if I wasn't in the right headspace or I was still just a little, had a little bit of mental foggy clarity about, his death and all that and getting in this car, I wouldn't do it. So it was just different. The first race back in the car was just felt weird.
Can't imagine.
Felt weird. And I'm not the type of person who gets emotional. I can, in a fucked up way, I've really trained myself not to be emotional. I can refuse crying at a funeral. I can refuse getting emotional over certain things, like if I lose something or a breakup or any of those type of things. It doesn't affect me in a really fucked up way.
Yeah. We've joked about it. Like you're kind of a sicko in that way. You just don't really cry.
I don't cry whatsoever. But my mom and some of my family members, they came to me and we all had dinner one night, and they're like, they're like, "We don't think that you're really over this, like emotionally." And because my dad and I we are closer than any father and son you could imagine. Did everything together. Yeah. Lost money together, made money together. We laughed together. We raced together. We did everything. I mean, it was awesome. Had an awesome. It was, if you could have put a picturesque moment of father and son. We ruled it. We best really friends. Did. Yep.
You guys are best friends.
So they all gathered together and they're like, we need to find a way for you to start your healing process. You've not grieved over it. You don't let yourself grieve. You need to. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I look at it like this. I feel like it's wasting time by grieving. I miss him every day, clearly, but I don't sulk over it or let it bring my life down. I don't want anybody feeling sorry for me. That's not what any of this shit's about. No. I don't need anybody to feel sorry for me at all. Never have, never will. And when you lose a parent, I don't know exactly. I've never lost anybody close to me, so it was the first time this happened. I mean, I lost my grandmother, and I was pretty close with her. Yep. But
like a best friend.
I didn't cry at her funeral. Yeah. I've not cried at any funeral I've been to. One of my good friends, Kevin, he died. I didn't cry at that. I refuse to let myself. I feel like I want to and need to, but I'm like, nope. No. Suck it up, bitch.
You and Sonny were just joking around about all the good times you had with Kevin in the back of the funeral home. I was there for that.
And that's what Kevin would have wanted.
Oh, 100%.
That's 100% what Kevin would have wanted, is joking around, having fun, remembering him the way he was.
Exactly.
And, at my dad's funeral, I did cry at the end of my speech. I kept it together right until the very end. And after that, I never cried once again until they pulled me out in front of the 4-wide salute. And that was it. And then the end of the race, that was emotional as soon as I took the checkered flag. I'll tell you that when I took the white flag and I was in the lead, I don't really think I could feel anything.
Nothing. Just
like my whole body was numb. Wow. I was like, this shit's about to happen.
That's crazy.
And I'm not going to fuck it up. So
you didn't.
And going into turn 1 and 2, I thought he was gonna slide me, and he did. I kind of slid myself going into 1 and 2. I kept my car low enough where I knew he couldn't get a nice run on me.
Yeah.
And then going into 3 and 4 on the last lap, I slid myself like really, really hard to make sure he didn't slide me.
Yes, that was a very nice pass.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that once I got to turn 3 and I got in clean air, I was pretty far out in front of him. But yeah, man, I crossed the checkered flag, and the emotions just poured out. And
As it should have. I mean, that's what I would have expected. That's a lot to hold in, you know.
yeah,
And you kind of talk about, you know, how you had that dinner with your sister and your mom. Did the win take any of that feeling, like the grievance part, away? I mean, obviously you're never gonna not be sad about it. Like, I get it, you're gonna miss your dad forever. But is there any like feeling, any like monkey off your back or anything, or is it?
I think it was the first step in the healing process for me.
Was it?
Took over a year for me to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone in his office before and just kind of sat there, and then once I feel like I'm getting a little emotional, I'm like, I gotta get out. I can't allow myself to get to that point.
Yeah, because you left his office like it was, which is, I think, kind of cool, right? So you can go. It's cool that you can go in there anytime and reminisce a little bit.
Yeah, and it was my dad was the type of person where he was the hardest on me out of everybody, clearly. But he brought in some people around him that he felt at the current time were good people. You know, he wanted to see the best in everybody. And there was a couple of situations where I would go and tell him, I'm like, listen, man, this person that you're trying to help out, it's a lost cause. Yeah. Like, don't do it. But my dad taught me, he's like, see the best in everybody and let them pick it up for themselves. And
I see that in you now. You do that a lot.
Yep, I do. I've taken that from him. My dad loved giving people stuff all the time. I love giving people stuff.
What if you just think about the stuff that you've done for even just me and Dylan, you know, like stuff you didn't have to do, letting us live with you, like,
yeah,
it's crazy. It's really cool. And he's instilled that in you, which is really, we're grateful for it, 100%.
But if you think about this too, like, when I see potential in somebody, I will invest every resource I have.
Yeah.
Like you. I mean,
yeah.
The full-time filmmaker course that you took, the shots you get now at the track are grade A shots.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? You learned a lot about exposure, aperture, all the camera settings and stuff. Yeah. Dude, I flipped that son of a bitch on auto and hit record, and that's where my video comes from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now you've taken the bull by the horns and have really done a nice job, and it makes the video quality that much better. And
appreciate that.
It's incredible, man. But that's what he would do for anybody. He would, if somebody wanted to better themselves, he's the guy to go to be like, hey. It was almost like a Shark Tank type thing.
Hey, Shark, that's what I got for you.
Yeah, exactly. But he didn't really ask for anything in return except for just an appreciation or a thank you at the end. And he didn't even ask for that. He just, if you said it, you said it. If you didn't, you didn't.
Yeah, I know.
It was a really good guy, man. And I look at the entire race as a whole, and it was a hole that was filled for me, basically. I'm mentally and emotionally, I'm way better than I was 3 weeks ago.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, because it's the first step in the healing process, I guess. Like my parent, or my parents said, but my mom, my aunt, my sister, they were all talking about that, and
you don't let yourself cry, but maybe you just needed to like get some of that out of your system. Like I know you won't do it for another 5 years.
No, hell no, I can't let myself do that. And actually, I'm gonna read you this text message.
That's the stuff I don't get, how you read these messages and stuff, and I don't just like start tearing up. Man, you're a freak. You're a mental freak. I don't know. This is all there is to it.
I'm either like borderline like psycho or I don't know. But I feel it inside. Yeah. But I feel, here's one of the most dicked up things, I guess, is I feel that I don't have a choice. I really don't, because who's going to be the backbone of the family? Dad left.
Yeah, you're the.
So he's no longer here.
The man of the house, but like in general term, just it's a man of the house, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And I'll read this. I don't send very many like sentimental messages or anything along that. I'm not that type of person. But my Aunt Shelley, for the past couple of years, especially after Dad died, she made a point to go to every single. She was at most races, but she made a point to go to every single race. She's not missed a single race yet since Dad died.
All year, she's been in every single one.
Yep. I mean, she's traveled to North Carolina with us on a Friday when she had work. She asked off to go, stuff like that. Like, incredible support.
Means a lot to her.
It means a lot to her and a lot to me. So Sunday, June 19th, at 2:40 p.m., I sent her this message. I said, just want to thank you for coming to all of my races. I absolutely love having you there and traveling with us, especially the races where Mom and Brittany, my sister, can't make it. You all are the only family that supports this insane hobby of mine. I want to say thank you for that. Love you. And then, basically the next message was one that was really gave me chills. Thank you, and thank you for taking me along. It's always been an adventure and so much fun. I'm so very proud of you and love the way you take time and interact with the fans. I'm so happy things have turned around for you and your race car team. Whatever you guys are doing, keep it up. As long as I'm able to go, I will be there. Our winner circle picture is coming soon. I feel it, with a checkered flag. Wow. And then a couple weeks later, here we are in victory lane.
She foreshadowed that a little bit.
Yeah, at Dad's race, and she foreshadowed literally all of it. So it's cool. I don't have family that goes to the races, which it used to be like a big family thing that we all used to do, man. And now it's just kind of everybody's got their own thing they do. You know what I mean? I'm not faulting anybody for that, but at the same time, it's cool to have my mom and my sister at most of the races, because I go to Bridgeport and race, and they're always there. And
always, which is nice. It's very nice. It's a good feeling to have that support, that backbone.
And I got to go into something in this next segment really quick. We are going to take a very, very short break, and then we'll come right back to this. But I got something I want to say. Okay, and we are back now. Finish out this podcast. So Chris, give me your perspective on pretty much that whole entire race weekend, or maybe just the race itself or the weekend, whatever. What's your synopsis of it? I mean, obviously it was a feel-good, heartfelt story, but what was your thoughts on it? Because there was a lot in the camera that we didn't put in the video. I was very frustrated during the heat race, and
you were a little fired up.
Yeah.
For me, the day before at Georgetown, like that Friday, like that, before the end of the feature, like that whole day was awesome for me, because we actually had more fans show up. We had a fan meet up earlier in the week at the Easy Finance for the truck and the car.
Oh yeah, I did forget about that actually. Yeah.
So the whole week leading up was awesome. Friday night was awesome up until you pulled off and we realized there was motor issues. So I was like, damn it, it's always got to be something. I can't just go smooth for old CJ.
Nope.
Never does. It was very emotional. It was definitely tough for even just like me to keep it together sometimes. And I'm like, how are you going through all this stuff? I don't understand how you're just like, you're still going. Like, we could have packed it up so many times and just like went to the beach and like hung out for the day. But you're like, no, we're going to get this thing figured out.
Wouldn't have been a bad idea.
I mean, looking back, like, no, that would have sucked, because look what came from everything, But it just getting up at, I think I woke up at like 7, 8 o'clock or something, having to drive to Philly to get the motor. I didn't know there was like a time limit. You guys forgot to mention that part to me, that it closed at 1. So I'm just kind of like cruising around, grab some coffee, doing my thing. He's like, hey, you're like 20 minutes out, right? Like, they're close soon. I was like, what are you talking about? But no, it was really cool to be a part of it again. With you had so much family there, so many friends. I don't know, so many drivers came up to you and just, like, we're supportive of you being there, and also grateful and happy for you that you won. Because that's a feeling that, like, forget it being your dad's race for a minute. Like, winning a sprint car race, I've won motocross races. That's a freaking amazing feeling, winning a race.
Yeah, it's hard.
you know what you put into it,
Yep.
Even for me on like a small budget with my dirt bike stuff, like that's such a cool feeling, being like, hey, even if it was in front of 5 people, like, I won a race.
Exactly.
So you did it in front of a full grandstand. People were watching at home on Flow. You had friends watching at home. So just,
it's pretty cool.
I don't know. There's so many things you could like touch on, but very emotional. It was cool to be a part of. It's the things that like we didn't show were definitely even more emotional, just because it's like the what if. Like, what if the car breaks? What if we don't make it out there more than a couple laps? What if I let everybody down?
Oh yeah,
that's a whole lot, and it all kind of falls on top of you, because it's your car, it's your hauler, it's your everything. This is your weekend, It's a lot. I don't know how you kept it together, man. I don't. That's crazy. I'm obviously proud of you driving. You drove amazing, dude. at 15th to first in anything in life.
Yeah.
Passing 15 cars on the highway is hard in the morning going to work. You know,
True that.
you did it in a 10-minute sprint car race. So I don't know, man. It was really cool to be a part of. You did an awesome job with everything, keeping it together.
Thank you. That was fun.
Just fun.
I don't know.
It was fun.
Yeah, looking back at it, it was fun. I think. I guess this. I never really looked at it like this, but I guess I have to now. It was a really, 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 really big moment for myself, my family that was there, and I don't know. It just still doesn't seem real sometimes. Like it's set in. It took about 2 days, and actually, I take that back. I got a little emotional on the phone with my mom a couple of days after that. I posted that I edited the video and I got to relive the whole day or two days in my head.
Your whole Sunday was you locked yourself in your office at the house and you edited that thing.
Yep, all day from sun up till late at night, sundown, around whenever I posted it on YouTube and Facebook and all that. I never came out of the office, not one time, not to eat or anything, and I got to relive all of it. And after I posted it, I called my mom. And I was like, hey, I posted the video from this weekend. Go check it out and let me know how it is. And she called me back and she's like, this is definitely what you needed in order to start that healing process and grieve for once in your life. And it makes sense. I don't necessarily agree that I needed to do it this way. And it's like anything. There's 400 ways to skin a cat.
100%, yeah.
And there's 400 ways to grieve, and there's 400 ways to get over something. Yeah. And this was my way, I guess. And
well, you need to, because you don't grieve. You don't let yourself do it. So it's just kind of always there.
I think what it is, I keep myself so busy that I don't have time to think about. Yeah.
It's a good point.
Think about anything. Barely have enough time to spend with my family. I mean, like this past weekend, it was 4th of July weekend. I spent that with my family. You went up to New York, spent it with your family, and
that was nice.
It is nice because it's really hard for me to do that because I don't know how to throttle back. Mm-hmm. Most people, I think, they get off of work at 5 o'clock, whatever, and then they live a normal life and they go and watch TV, or they go, I don't know,
favorite Netflix series.
Go cook dinner. I don't have time to cook dinner. Like it's time to go.
Go walk the dog at the park.
No, I don't have time to do any of that kind of stuff. Don't have time to go have fun. I do have time. I just don't make time. And I made time for my family this weekend and got to do some really cool stuff with them. And I was really glad that I got to do that. Yeah. And we didn't, actually the race didn't really come up in conversation with us. It was more or less family time. I think we've talked about it before. And I went to the boardwalk a couple weekends ago. Oh no, it was the Sunday was it the Sunday after the race?
Was it?
I don't know. I went to the boardwalk with Doug and Brittany and
you guys went some
Brady and stuff. So it was cool. It was cool being able to go and do that and hang out with my nephews and get ice cream. And I as I was walking around, I'm like, man, is this what normal people do? Like, I don't know if I want to be normal, but it was cool for like 2 or 3 hours, and then. Yeah. I'm like itching. I'm like, oh God, I gotta go do something productive. Like I gotta go work. I gotta make money. Like it's just,
that's the thing though too.
It's a fucked up way I live.
You probably don't think about it, but that probably means 10 times more to them than it does to you, only because you instantly have other things going on when you leave that situation. But they go home and reflect like, TJ came on one of the boardwalk with us, with Brady and Deegan and Doug and Brittany, like, and spending the weekend with your family. Like the only thing that I ever joke around with about like with your sister, your mom, Jamie, about like your flaws that you don't take enough time for yourself, and we always joke about that. Always got someone else to do. So it's always just like when you get those days off to reflect, and we kind of have like a little ritual now before the race with you, me, Chase.
Yeah, and I like it. It's kind of cool. Our Friday night rituals now, unless we're racing somewhere else. Friday night rituals. Everybody comes over to my house, and we get in the pool, and we'll go to Old Mill, or we'll go somewhere and eat dinner. And that was really cool. I like doing that because it was just I don't hang out friend wise with you guys like that. It's all work, work or racing, and
we're hanging out, but our hands are filthy because we're working on the car.
True that. I mean, and not to take anything away from anybody in the way that they live.
No,
I choose this life. I'm not forced. Nobody's got a gun to my head saying you got to do it. It's nothing like that. But I really do. I put an immense amount of pressure on myself every day to perform in business, and then that race, it was but it's my way to get away from the everyday hustle bustle lifestyle.
You do take time for yourself when it comes to racing.
Yep.
You do. When you're in the helmet, you're in the car, you're by
I
yourself.
stopped stressing about business and I stress about a race. It makes no sense. Like most people go to the pool or some dumb shit, you know what I mean? And I'm out here like stressing myself out to death. And
it's tough. That's why you do it though. I mean, that's what, you know, people think about, you know, everything you do for pleasure and fun. And like, it's because you can turn your brain off. You turn your brain off for 10 minutes and focus on one thing.
And I'm going to start taking more time for myself. I really am.
Yeah.
I think
good.
I need to. But
you do. You really do.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys comment in the chat. Tell them to take a weekend off or something. Take some time off.
My dad always said I'd end up lonely. Oh, geez.
That's a whole nother story. But
it is, man. Yeah.
I feel like he had some things figured out.
Yep. But no, I guess to kind of end this podcast off and just reflect on things.
Yeah.
That was probably the best day of my life.
That's awesome.
That takes the cake. That was the best day of my life right there, was winning that race. And I have something of my dad's now, and that's his race.
And that's cool to hear because, and not a bad thing, but again, you don't always open up. You're not always like emotional about things. So hearing you say something like that's really cool. Yeah. Awesome to be a part of. Yep. It's cool that everybody came to support. And
yeah, I wish more family could have made it, even though it was like a makeup race and all that. You know, having family at the races, it feels really, really good.
Yeah, it does.
And having a support system around you, even though they're just there, they're not wrenching on the car, they're not paying bills or anything, but they're there to support you. Yeah, it means a lot. It really does. And that there is a really, really good feeling. Felt really awesome to have family there. And then on another note, actually, before we end this off, one of the greatest things was after the race, I had some drivers I've never even talked to come up to me and congratulate me, which, you know, was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And it was, a lot of people said you earned that one. And I did. It wasn't like I started third and won the race or, you know, whatever. Oh. You know, starting 15th was tough, and being able to, I need to start going and talking to more drivers. Actually, one kid that one guy I went up to a couple weeks ago. Actually, I don't know if that was it was a week before Dad's race when I finished second.
Yeah.
I went and talked to this guy, Sean Metz, and I've meant to go talk to this guy for literally a year. You know, you're like Facebook friends, like I'll like his posts, he'll like my posts and stuff back and forth. And always wanted to make a point to go and talk to him and say what's up, because I've never like personally met him before. But he's just one of those guys that's out there racing that him and his family, they do it, and it's the pure love of racing is what they do. Yeah. I thought that was really cool. So I went down there and talked to him, and you know, got to meet him for the first time, and just good people. I don't take the time like I should to go and meet other people in the pits, and people would probably have a different perspective of me if I went and did that too. Everybody thinks I'm just some asshole over there behind the grandstands with a big rig, and I'm just.
That's how, but I mean, I feel like it's safe to say that in sprint car racing, people keep to themselves. You guys are racers. You guys are kind of enemies on the track. You're not best friends. So that's normal. It's not like you're just being an asshole. It's just kind of how racing is. But there's a lot of good people out there.
Yeah, there's a ton of good people. 98% of people involved in racing are absolutely incredible. Give you the shirt off their back, and would pretty much do anything for you. There's a couple guys out there I really enjoy racing against, actually. Eddie Wagner and I, we got together at Baps Motor Speedway at one time. I don't know how we didn't flip, but we got together going down the front stretch. We both like spun out or whatever. Pure racing incident. Yeah. I've had a couple of incidents where on the racetrack where I've like really hated someone at the particular time. And I look back and I'm like, I'm just such an asshole on the racetrack. Sometimes I'm too critical about what I do to people and what they do to me. Yeah. I come from, when you hit me, I'm going to hit you back twice, and then the second time I'm going to hit you harder, so then that way we're even in my eyes type thing. Yeah. And it's not the right way to go about things, and I got to be careful about what I do. I'd really try to mind my P's and Q's, because the next guest that's going to be on the podcast, Doug Rose, which is actually my brother-in-law, we're going to talk about some things. I used to race at his track called Action Track USA in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. Yeah. And me and this guy got into it on the racetrack. This guy, I don't know what the hell his was. I don't even know his name. He drove a red car. That's all I know. He literally dive bombed the corner, hit me in the ass so hard, shoved me up the racetrack, put me in the wall. I was like, ain't gonna happen, bud.
No.
So after the caution came out, I hit him about 3/4 speed. Hit him right in the ass, tore the hell out of front of my car. I didn't even care.
No.
And I was just like, this dude, like, what the hell is his problem?
Yeah.
So it was the first time I got out of the race car and I was like, I'm going to kick his ass. I've never felt that before, but I was going to kick his ass. So my sister comes down here. To back up, I'm going around the racetrack at once I got back by him, I rode with my middle finger out the window of the car for a full lap after I passed him. And Doug's yelling at me on the radio, and I got to be careful because I can't. I'm still going to be me, but I'm not going to be disrespectful at a family member's facility.
Yeah.
It's not what I'm going to do. So I have to mind my P's and Q's more than I would at any other racetrack. Any other racetrack, it's kind of whatever goes. I don't think people want cookie cutter race car drivers like the prim and proper. I like a guy with flaws. Like I actually used to be I loved watching Billy Pouch and Ryan Godown go at it at New Egypt. I wouldn't go up there and watch races, but you'd see stuff on video, you hear about it on the internet, and I love that. I love watching Ryan Godown race. He actually doesn't put the bumper to people as much as he used to, and I'm kind of disappointed in that because that was like, his people in the grandstands who didn't like him called him Modown.
Okay. Take people out.
Yeah, I like that. That's what racing's about. Like we've gotten so far away from it and so far soft now. It's like
we need some characters.
Yeah, like the guy who hit me and shoved me up in the wall at Action Track, like the guy deserved to get his ass whipped. But anyway, come find out, guy's like 6'14" or something. I don't know. Like huge guy that could have got out and like just stomped a mud hole in me right then. And I'm glad I didn't. And so anyway, whatever. Doug, he reprimanded me about that and threatened to suspend me and all that from Action Track. And after that, I really calmed down. And that was when him and Brittany were first dating. And it was just a weird dynamic. So it is whatever. But, talking about, go down in them, I miss that type of racing. Our race cars are getting a little bit too expensive to start using as weapons, clearly. And in the state of New Jersey, you can't do that, which sucks
you go to jail
for some people. But
assault.
But no, it to me, I miss that old school type of racing. And the problem is you now have keyboard warriors out there who
every move you make.
I call them Monday morning quarterbacks. That I know Flacco. I don't even know if that's a quarterback's name. I don't give about baseball, football, whatever the hell it is. Oh, Flacco should have thrown this pass, or somebody comes up and me. Oh, you should have passed him in turn 3. Well, you get in the car and do it next time. Like, so I miss racing like that, and to me, I think that we need to preserve the characters that we do have in racing. And it's kind of like I saw this thing about Ty Gibbs in NASCAR. He's kind of putting the bumper to people and stuff, but people are talking about him.
Hey, bad press is better than no press, right?
Absolutely. Yep,
all day.
Absolutely correct. So, talking about racing and the general state of it, I think we're just getting too far soft on this. It's not a soft person sport. I mean, this is a sport where you got to put your helmet on. Yeah. And, one of my, I call him Uncle Charlie, but Charlie Langenstein, who has been like a third father to me almost. Yeah. He was always one to say, racing's a contact sport. That's why we make them wear helmets.
I mean, he's got a point.
It's a damn point. I mean, it's true too. Point. So at what point is too far,
I mean, you start flipping and stuff. I'm like, all right. But if you guys
rubbing and racing and
you break some parts, I mean, hey.
Yeah.
You guys go into there knowing that, I mean, if you make a bad move and the guy comes out and knocks your ass out when you get out of the car, you made the move, not him.
Part of the sport, buddy. Yeah. You know what I think we need to do? You know what I'm going to talk to Doug about on the podcast is I'm going to get him on here and I'm going to be like, listen, I want to propose something. YouTube has boxing now. It's like all of us YouTubers are like trying to kill each other in a boxing ring, and I think I'm going to probably try my hand at boxing. I'm going to get my ass whipped more than likely, but I'm going to give it my best shot. But I think it'd be fun to actually host a sanctioned boxing event. You get two guys who are rivals, put their ass in the ring. Let's see how this shit goes.
That'd be fun. That's always good entertainment. I don't even like boxing, but I'll watch those YouTubers.
I will too. I don't care about people who do it professionally. No. I think it's fun and more exciting to see two people who really can't fight get in the ring and try to fight it out.
Because they can't stand each other. There's some drama or something.
Exactly. Actually, I don't know who I would fight in the racing world. I don't really have an enemy or so to speak.
We'll have to start making some.
I'm good. I'm controversial enough as it is, but I try to Get my P's and Q's now.
I'll talk to Chase. I bet we could think of someone, a couple people. I'm sure there's somebody out there.
Jesus.
There's probably a couple people we could think of.
Yeah, you're probably right.
We'll find somebody. We'll find somebody for you. Don't you worry.
It's probably right Grandview.
Should we start driving up there? Is there a race this weekend?
Oh man, I'll tell you what. I'll pay for the sanctioning fees. I'll pay for the ring, all that. Let's go.
Oh my God, I'm in. I'm so in.
Let's go.
Give me and Chase the mic.
I got a shot at that one though.
Yeah, I think so.
I definitely got a shot at it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yep.
I think you got a chance. I think you'd kick some ass. You're a hothead, so I think you'd get hit in the face and you would just get more mad and you'd swing even harder. So
Yeah. Probably right.
We gotta do this.
Yeah, the first shot that I'm gonna throw is probably not gonna be like, no haymaker or nothing. No knockout shot. But
as long as you take the one you get and you get back up. We might have to get you a helmet, Mr. Concussion over here.
I know. Yeah, that's probably one of the things.
Do they wear helmets?
My doctor would call me and be like, "Are you a fucking idiot? What is your problem?"
Still racing.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm seeing you, bud.
Yeah. That's why I'm here. The thing with Doug should be cool though. I think there's been some, you could say, controversy with track conditions this year. Not his fault or flaw, but there's been some vlogs I've had to cut up and re-edit because some things are said that you're like, I was a little bit heated and I shouldn't have said that.
Absolutely. I'm critical of Doug. He's critical of me.
Yeah.
We're both critical of each other and we get along. I mean, it's not like we're not friends or anything. We get along great. You know, I love him to death, do anything in the world for him. And at the same time, I'm critical of him and he's critical of me.
Yeah, I've seen it.
We're breaking in the beginning of the season. He's like, dude, do you need help? Like, what the f- is going on? You know what I mean? And,
you good?
And track conditions may not be like where I feel like they should be, which who the f- am I? But nobody. And so having Doug on, I think is going to be really cool for all of you because I've learned so much being around Doug and him owning a racetrack. I've never seen what they go through. So I think this is really, really cool. And Doug and my dad were close and kind of get his perspective on some things too. So I'm excited to have Doug on. That's going to be awesome.
He was pretty emotional at the first day of your dad's memorial race when he did his interview. So, I mean, I think it means a lot to him.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how do you think what did it mean a lot to him that you won it? Do you think because it was your dad's race too?
I think so. One thing that my dad never really told me was that he was proud of me. Yeah. But apparently he'd go around and tell everybody else. He just wouldn't tell me for whatever reason. Which, okay.
Yeah, cool, thanks, Dad.
Would help me out a lot in life, Dad, if you just told me you're proud of me more than twice, all right?
One time.
So when I actually, there's a moment we'll put up here on the screen, but I jumped down off of the winner circle stage and I went and gave Doug a big hug and I was like, thank you so much for giving Dad a race and thanks for giving us a place to race too, all of us racers. And that he was like, man, I'm so proud of you. He said, you earned that one. You did a good job. And that felt really good.
Every moment on the podium was special. Just every hug, every handshake. You could tell those people that were up there genuinely care about you and want to see you do well in what you do. So that was really cool.
That was cool too. You got a first time sponsor on the car.
Oh man, Mike was so happy.
Yeah, Mike and everybody from American Finance or Easy Finance Trucks or other companies, American Finance. But that was just really cool, man. That was an awesome moment. It really was.
You sat on the podium, storybook from start to finish.
Yeah, started with tears, ended with tears, and probably will tear up every anniversary of that memorial race there. So
honestly, real cool.
Yeah, it was neat, man. I'm glad everything is behind us now. Now I can focus on winning more races and deciding whether I'll race next year or not. And
World Outlaws or whatever we decided to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Better watch your back, Sheldon. We're coming for you.
No, Sheldon, you ain't got shit to worry about with me, buddy. Trust me.
I'm joking.
I'm not an eighth of the driver that guy is.
Before we wrap it up, is there anything else that happened or anything else you want to bring up about the race? Because there was a lot of things that went.
What else happened? Again, it's like such a blur.
Yeah. It's the heat race there. You drew, what'd you say, 47? There's you let Brady pick the weekend before and it was bad. You're like, I'm not doing that. So you went up and drew, and you drew even worse.
Actually, no, I didn't even draw my own pill.
Oh, no, that's what it was, right? Yeah.
So Friday night, Brady drew me a 12 out of 12. Thanks for that, buddy. I love you. I do love him. And then Saturday at Dad's race, I went up to Eddie Wagner. I'm like, Eddie, how about you pull me for me this week so I can only be mad at you for my starting position?
Yep.
And he drew a 47 out of 50 pill, so that put me like dead last in the heat race. And I was just, the odds and cards were stacked against me, but we earned it. We earned it. So
Absolutely. It was
a
really cool.
team effort. Could not have done that shit without Chase either, man. He's the backbone of this team, dude.
He's I always tell him to get in his own head, like, I mean, you're building your own legacy as one of the greatest sprint car mechanics to ever do it, because the stuff he's putting in the car makes zero sense. It's literally ridiculous.
There's vlog footage out there of us not arguing, but I'm like, dude, this is insane. You don't need to put that heavy of a bar in the car. You know, just like it's crazy.
He's like, you drive it, and I'll let you know how it looks out there. And
Yep. And we've done a lot of trying stuff this year over previous years.
yeah, which is
Tractor trailer.
yeah, it's risky doing what you do though for the amount of money you put in, and then you go out there and imagine if he's putting the wrong settings in, you guys are getting last.
Yeah.
And you look like an idiot, you feel like an idiot. It's like,
Yeah.
I would have wrapped it up already.
Yep. Been like deuces.
So yeah, you guys aren't quitting, so it's cool. It's real
No.
cool. And again, proud of you, man. You did an awesome job with that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just it's real cool. Thanks for letting us all be a part of it.
Hell
I
yeah,
think
man.
everyone appreciates
Thank
it.
you for being a part of it. Thank you all for watching this podcast. I know my energy is a little bit lower because this is like a really like meaningful podcast, and I'm not trying to share like funny stories or anything like that with you all, but yeah, I appreciate it very, very much. Don't forget the Club Motivated app is now live. If you go down to your app store, just type in Club Motivated, download that thing. It's $9.99 a month, $9.99 a month, not $1,000. Clarify that. $9.99 a month, and basically gets you a ton of exclusive stuff. Way too much to list here on a podcast, but go check it out. Become a part of that family. I mean, literally, our phones are blowing up with notifications.
Dude, it's embarrassing. I looked at my screen time yesterday. Oh my god.
Dude, it's crazy
It's
the
not
amount
good.
of like
Spending way too much time.
Yeah,
I'm spending way too much time on my phone now. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Thanks, Club Motivated. But
That's
for
cool.
real, thank you all so
Download
much
it.
for the love and support. We do love you and appreciate you more than you will ever know and ever expect. So until next time, we'll see y'all on the next podcast.